like to turn things over now to Sheriff Ringhausen. We have some, initially it was planned to do some recognition and appreciation of a couple of recent retirees, but unfortunately one of the individuals, Kenny Ringhausen, his mother passed recently, and tonight is visitation. And I think the other individual wanted to wait and be recognized with, along with our officer, our deputy, Ringhausen. So, Sheriff, I turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. It's truly an honor to be able to do this. With helping me tonight's Chief Deputy Kevin Qualls and our Sergeant Mark Marshall. First award be given to Deputy Sheriff David Womack. This Life-Saving Achievement Award is being presented to Deputy Sheriff David Womack for his quick actions and selflessness on April 9, 2017, when he responded to an unresponsive female who had overdosed on narcotics in the Joywood subdivision. Deputy Womack attempted to locate vital signs on the female to no avail. Deputy Womack immediately began CPR and continued until relieved by emergency medical personnel. The female was able to be revived by the emergency medical personnel due to Deputy Womack's life-saving procedures. Deputy Womack's actions not only reflected on himself, but were in keeping with the highest standards of the Jersey County Sheriff's Office. He's also gets a letter of recognition. This letter of recognition is presented to Deputy Sheriff David Womack for 20 years of service to the Jersey County Sheriff's Office. Your perseverance exemplifies public service to the citizens of Jersey County and the Jersey County Sheriff's Office. Yet another Life-Saving Achievement Award and Correctional Officer Travis Trissler. This Life-Saving Achievement Award is being presented to Correctional Officer Travis Trissler for his quick actions and selflessness on September 29, 2016. Correctional Officer Trissler was alerted to an inmate having medical problems. Correctional Officer Trissler attempted to assist the inmate when the inmate collapsed. Correctional Officer Trissler removed the unresponsive inmate from the cell to secure him from other inmates. Correctional Officer Trissler called for assistance and immediately began CPR, life-saving procedures on the inmate. Correctional Officer Trissler continued CPR until relieved by emergency medical personnel. Correctional Officer Trissler's actions not only reflected upon himself, but were in keeping with the highest standards of the Jersey County Sheriff's Office. Life-Saving Achievement Award, Deputy Sheriff Kevin Ayers. This Life-Saving Achievement Award is presented to Deputy Sheriff Kevin Ayers for his selflessness and decisive actions on July 19, 2017. Deputy Ayers had responded to the Grafton Marina to assist the ambulance with a report of two unresponsive subjects on a boat. Deputy Ayers, along with Deputy Sheriff Nick Wolfle, arrived and located the two subjects, who appeared to be suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning. Deputy Ayers and Deputy Wolfle carried the two unresponsive subjects from the dangerous environment without hesitation and disregarding their own safety. Deputy Ayers and Deputy Wolfle administered first aid to the unresponsive subjects until emergency medical personnel arrived. Deputy Ayers' actions not only reflected on himself, but were in keeping with the highest standards of the Jersey County Sheriff's Office. Second award for life-saving. Okay. First of all, I'll let you know that tonight is Deputy Kevin Ayers' second life-saving award. And his partner that night, Deputy Sheriff Nick Woelfel. This life-saving achievement award is being presented to Deputy Sheriff Nick Woelfel for his selflessness and decisive actions on July 19, 2017. Deputy Woelfel had responded to the Grafton Marina to assist the ambulance with the report of 2 unresponsive subjects on a boat. Deputy Woelfel, along with Deputy Sheriff Kevin Ayers, arrived and located the 2 subjects who appeared to be suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning. Deputy Woelfel and Deputy Ayers carried the 2 unresponsive subjects from the dangerous environment without hesitation and disregarding their own safety. Deputy Woelfel and Deputy Ayers administered first aid to the unresponsive subjects until emergency medical personnel arrived. Deputy Woelfel's actions not only reflected upon himself, but were in keeping with the highest standards of the Jersey County Sheriff's Office. And it's sad to say we lost this young man, Dalton PD, but he's doing very well down there, and we're all very proud of him. Sheriff's Commendation to Deputy Sheriff Brett Vedder. This Sheriff's Commendation is being presented to Deputy Sheriff Brett Vedder for his professionalism and excellence during an investigation into drug activity in the Indian Lake subdivision on October 27, 2018. Deputy Vedder's thorough investigative techniques were instrumental in identifying and subsequently disrupting a large-scale drug operation. Deputy Vedder's tireless efforts resulted in multiple arrests, seizures of over 150 pounds of cannabis, and the recovery of over $114,000 in cash. Deputy Vedder's investigation not only reflected on himself, but were in keeping with the highest standards of the Jersey County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff's Commendation for Deputy Sheriff Marshall Lewis. This Sheriff's Commendation is being presented to Deputy Sheriff Marshall Lewis for his superior investigative skills while conducting a traffic stop on September 11, 2018. Deputy Lewis attempted to stop a vehicle for only having one headlamp. The driver of the vehicle did not stop and continued to his residence. Upon stopping the vehicle at the driver's residence, Deputy Lewis detected the odor of cannabis. After utilizing excellent investigative techniques, Deputy Lewis discovered the driver had a cannabis growing operation at his residence. Deputy Lewis' investigation resulted in the seizure of multiple cannabis plants, over 20 pounds of cannabis, 2 SKS-style assault rifles, a semi-automatic handgun, numerous rounds of ammunition, Kevlar body armor. Deputy Lewis' actions not only reflected on himself, but were in keeping with the highest standards of the Jersey County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff's Commendation for Correctional Officer Jameson Metcalf. This Sheriff's Commendation is presented to Correctional Officer Jameson Metcalf for his decisive actions in stopping an inmate from escaping on June 4th, 2018. Correctional Officer Metcalf was opening a cell door to provide a lunch tray to an inmate. As Correctional Officer Metcalf opened the door, the inmate shoved him against a wall and attempted to run away. Correctional Officer Metcalf pursued the escaping inmate and engaged in a physical struggle with him. Correctional Officer Metcalf was able to regain control of the escaping inmate, who was restrained and returned to his cell. Correctional Officer Metcalf's actions not only reflected highly on himself, but were in keeping with the highest standards of the Jersey County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff's Commendation for Detective Nicholas Mans. This sheriff's commendation is presented to Detective Nicholas J. Manns for his bravery and decisive actions in the pursuit and subsequent arrest of a murder suspect on February 8, 2018. Detective Manns was attempting to locate the murder suspect who had just shot an individual in Macoupin County, Illinois. Detective Manns observed the murder suspect and attempted to stop him. The murder suspect did not stop and fled from Detective Manns at high speeds. Detective Manns pursued the fleeing murder suspect at great risk to himself. After the dangerous pursuit ended, Detective Manns was instrumental in the apprehension of the murder suspect. Detective Manns' actions not only reflected highly on himself, but were in keeping with the highest standards of the Jersey County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff's Commendation for Deputy Sheriff Jeff Klunk. This Sheriff's Commendation is presented to Deputy Sheriff Jeff Klunk for his actions while enacting an arrest with a combative suspect on December 23, 2016. Deputy Klunk was attempting to arrest the domestic battery suspect when the suspect began actively resisting. The suspect repeatedly struck Deputy Klunk in the face and forehead. During the engagement with the combative suspect, Deputy Klunk received a serious laceration to his forehead. Deputy Klunk continued to physically engage with the suspect, even with the blood covering his eyes, limiting his ability to see the suspect. Deputy Klunk displayed extreme bravery and perseverance. Deputy Klunk's actions reflected highly upon himself and were in keeping with the highest standards of the Jersey County Sheriff's Office. This one's going to be a little tough. Medal of Valor Award. You may have to trade me.
This Medal of Valor is being awarded to Deputy Sheriff Christopher Jones for heroism and bravery above and beyond his routine duties. On June 13, 2017, Deputy Jones was assisting Jerseyville City Police Department in the attempt to apprehend a fleeing burglary suspect. Deputy Jones observed an armed suspect running from the Jerseyville police officer, Officer Miller. Deputy Jones joined in foot pursuit of the suspect. The suspect turned and began firing a handgun at Officer Miller, wounding him. Deputy Jones, at the risk to his own safety, proceeded towards the gunfire and engaged the suspect with his service weapon, ultimately stopping the threat and saving Officer Miller from further harm. Deputy Jones' decisive actions not only reflected upon himself, but were in keeping with the highest standards of the Jersey County Sheriff's Department. And finally, this is a letter of recognition is being presented to Sergeant Mark Marshall for 20 years of service to the Jersey County Sheriff's Office. Your perseverance exemplifies public service to the citizens of Jersey County and the Jersey County Sheriff's Office.
We have other representatives of the Sheriff's Office here tonight. Would they please stand if they're not already? And please join me in one more final round of applause for Jeff Klunk. We do have refreshments in that over there. Compliments to my sister-in-law's cupcake shop. Had to get that in there. Okay, one more time.